Good morning to all the participants and our today's faculty, Sri Ravi Palekar sir. Sri Ravi Palekar sir is senior consultant in Paytm Payments Bank. He was also ex-chief executive officer of IEH, MCL and ex-general manager in National Highway Authority of India. We all of you know that we are conducting this training program on intelligent transportation system applications for highway from 26th of the September. Today is the third day of this ongoing online training program. So today we have proposed lecture on tolling solutions. In that, electronic toll collection and congestion pricing will be discussed by our faculty sir. So I will request once again to the participant that please ask your question, please clear your doubts during this 3-hour session. There will also be a 15 minutes time break at around 11:15 to 11:30. Participant can ask their questions during the presentation as well as at the end of the presentation. During the presentation, participant can ask the question with the consent of our faculty, sir. So I will not take much more time. I request Sri Ravi Palekar, sir, to start his presentation and sharing his knowledge with the participants. Thanking you.
Thank you, Sunil Gupta ji. Thank you for your introduction. And good morning, everybody. I'm Ravi Palekar. We'll start the presentation now. Today, we are covering, as indicated, mainly toll plaza systems, electronic toll collection systems. That's FASTag, the program in India. And there are other couple of other FASTag based enforcement systems, parking, and that urban road pricing systems. Let's start with that toll plaza systems. As you are aware, in any typical toll plaza, this is the picture image of a toll plaza where we can find a typical lane here, and you have some systems. A booth is there, and boom barrier, AVCC systems, fare correction system, traffic light, and other things. This is a typical toll plaza. You must have seen that. We'll cover each individual.
कितना पहुंच जाएंगे?
Hello.
आठटा निकल गया?
Continue, sir.
Okay. We'll cover individual components in detail in subsequent slides. As you know, this is if you see that the timelines, how we started toll collection. It's almost some 20 years back when we started toll collection. We started with pre-printed tickets. If you see that color, different denominations used to get printed in different colors, and the toll collectors used to give these tickets to the road users. So then we moved on to that computer-based ticketing system in 2005 up to 2015. And some toll plazas, they continued. And slowly we migrated to smart card-based tolling. Then again in 2016, we started this pilot project of electronic toll collection. This is the chronology and that timeline of toll collection, how we started with this. If you see this, the main problem with this pre-printed tickets and the computer-based tickets, it was very difficult to just have that kind of audit mechanism, because individual toll plazas used to have their own accounting systems. And the head office, NHAI, being the complete the managing agency, it was very difficult for NHAI to have that kind of accounting and monitoring at all the toll plazas. They were solely depending on the information given by individual toll operators or toll managers. So to have centralized control, we have to have some mechanism so that the complete transaction would hit one single server. Then only you'll be able to see that complete transaction across the country. This is how that evolution of electronic tolling has happened. So all these things any clarification. See, this is that typical subsystems in any toll plaza. If you visit any toll plazas, you find generally these are some of the systems, and already you're aware of certain things, but still, for the sake of this one information, I'm just sharing that with you. The first and foremost thing is AVCC systems, automatic vehicle counter come classifiers. It's a very important component in any toll plaza. This serves as a counter for the vehicle pass through the toll plazas, and it will act as a audit mechanism. See here in manual toll collection, toll operator is generally he's identifying the class of vehicle, because in any toll plazas in Indian systems, we had to pay toll based on the class of vehicle, and that of course that the toll plaza, the project, so the distance, the total distance of the project, and the class of vehicle. The toll operator identifies the vehicle and he collects the toll. But to have that kind of audit, whether he has collected that the precise the toll the toll amount properly from the vehicle or not, the AVCC systems will identify the vehicle automatically, and it matches with the toll collector's class. If there is any variance or if any change in that operator's class and the system class, then it pops up a message to the supervisor or the plaza manager sitting at the control center there, and he has to just check that whether the toll collector is correctly identified the class of vehicle or collected the amount, or he has done some mistake in that. In any case, he has to correct that, and that is how that ABC system will act as a audit system just to counter and correct that classes identified the toll collector. It's a very, very important component in any toll plaza. And second one is a automatic boom barrier. So the barrier opens only after successful transaction at the toll plaza. And this electronic toll collection, that I'm covering this part in detail in subsequent slides. And smart card systems, contactless smart card system. Initially, we were using these contactless smart card systems for monthly passes at the toll plazas. Since we are converting all these things, modes of toll through ATC only, now present system. So we are doing away with this smart card system. But of course, yes, we started with this along with other manual toll collection. We used to have contactless smart card system. Again, that is also based on RFID technology, but with a very close proximity. RFID cards. Generally, you might have seen this kind of things at that access control. If you enter the office, you have to tap your ID card with the small reader systems near the gate. So this close RFID contact system will enable that to open or act in the backend system. So similarly, in toll plazas also, we are using these kind of technologies with the smart card systems. Then of course, ticket printer is just to have that proof of payment of toll for the user. In manual toll collection only, we are having this printers. Now with the ATC, we are having the complete information on your system, and we can demand that in a different form, maybe in complete period wise or monthly or daily. That usage thing, you can get it on your system also. Then user fare display unit. just to give that kind of vehicle number or that amount. So the display will give that information whether that right amount of toll has been collected and that vehicle is rightly identified or not. This gives the display to the drivers. Then CCTV systems. Every toll plaza generally they are having CCTV systems to just to monitor the activities, mainly at three locations. One CCTV system generally installed inside the booth to cover that activities happening inside the booth. Second one to cover that lane. So any vehicle, whenever vehicle is entering, you can see that there's a camera fitted on the canopy or on a pole to cover the front image and sometimes the back image of the vehicle also. And the third one will be generally to cover the overall toll plazas, generally on a high mast thing. We have a camera systems, pan, tilt, and zoom cameras to just cover that wider area. So there are three different CCTV systems are installed there, and all video feeds are monitored in the control center. That also I'm covering it in detail. And a traffic light system that generally we have red and green. Only after successful financial transaction, that light goes greens and allowing vehicle to proceed further. And it's also linked with the barrier. The green light and the barriers are interlinked. And intercom systems that to have audio, this one sharing communication between the booth operators and the control center staff. So intercom systems are installed there. Is a both-way communication from operator if he is willing to share certain information with the control center staff, then in vice versa. Even if toll plaza manager, if he wants to share some broadcasting information, then also he can broadcast that information to all the toll operators. Then overhead lane signs, you can see that green and the red cross signs, you can see from the distance whether that particular lane is operational or not. We can see from the distance. And if it is crossed with the red signal, then the driver can take the adjacent lanes. So this is the typical AVCC systems installed at toll plazas. We use this video profiler. You can see that kind of images you can create using this kind of light curtain profiles. These are two towers are installed on either side. One is transmitter tower, another is a receiver tower. So these towers are having transmitter towers are having LED lights which are emitting light, and the receiver side is receiving that. Any object coming in between will cut that beam and forms this kind of images. So with this help of these images, we can easily identify what kind of vehicle is passing through that toll lane. So you can, with other parameters like height of the vehicle and the axle gap. So based on these parameters, we can precisely identify the class of vehicle and match with the toll collector's class. So AVCC will act as a, and it will totally count and classify the vehicles. This is the boom barrier. So you can see typical boom barrier here, and it is connected with the toll plaza systems. Only after that financial transaction, successful transaction, that barrier automatically goes up, allowing vehicle to proceed further. This is the contactless smart card systems. As I told you, a small chip-based smart card. It's similar to our credit card size. It has got a small chip embedded inside this. And when you tap on a reader here, that communication establishes without any physical contact. We though it's called tap and go, but with a very close distance also we can have that kind of contact, and communication establishes between this thing. We can see the symbol here, that wireless communication system. Even nowadays, most of that credit cards also having similar wireless chips inside there. So we need not have to insert that card in the reader machine, even while tapping. So you can just pay that amount.
ಆಯ್ತು ಒಂಚೂರು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬಿಡಿ ಸರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ.
So ticket printer. Here we have a thermal printer here in toll plazas. It is a very high-speed thermal printer, and user fare display unit. You can see that you can display. It's a customizable display thing. You can either display the toll fare or vehicle number, and sometimes you can just greetings also, welcoming or thanking, all those things. Message can also be displayed, and this will give kind of cross verification to the drivers also. Whenever he pays toll, then his vehicle number, he can cross check, yes, his vehicle is identified properly and the right amount of toll has been collected. So this gives that kind of cross checking to the driver. And light traffic system is a simple red and green. Intercom system, as I told you, intercom system for facilitating communication between the operators sitting in the booths and the control room staff. In case of any incidents, then operator can convey that SOS message or any help. He can seek any help. In some toll plazas, they have panic button as well, the foot button. By pressing that panic button, it gives some kind of alert to the operator, this one, supervisors at the control center. Because many times toll booth operators encounter a lot of resistance from the toll paying drivers, very aggressive drivers in that case. So it's very much essential for operators to have kind of sharing information and taking advice from the control center staff. And overhead lane signs you can see here. See, from the distance we can see that arrow down, green arrow down, or the cross, red cross. So depending on the type of problems there in the lanes, the driver from the distance, he can see that whether the particular lane is operational or not. In case of any cross red sign, he can take the adjacent lanes from the distance. So instead of reaching that spot and taking the reverse thing, from the distance itself, he will take a decision to just move to the next lanes. So that this the overhead lane signs will help him to take a decision like that. CCTV systems, as I told you, there are three types of CCTV systems are deployed at the toll plazas. The one inside the booth, just to cover the toll operator and facing the window, so that even the toll operator interacting with the drivers can easily be seen there. In case of any incident, it can be captured and used as a proof for further investigations. And second one, to just cover the front image of the vehicle, or sometimes even we can have another camera. In some plazas, they have two cameras, one to capture the front image, including that registration number plate, and the back image of the vehicle also. In case of any dispute or vehicle disputes, so this camera feed can be used just to cross check what kind of vehicle. And many times we use this kind of camera feed for police verification and for tracking, checking. The local authorities use NHAI's video feed for their investigation purposes. So that will help them in this video feed in individual lanes. And the third one, you can see that that will capture that entire view of the toll plaza, both the exit side and the entry side. So you can see that overall image of that plaza, how the traffic is behaving during peak hours. We can easily make out this, how that congestion at the plazas are happening there. So that's what three both operations. One to monitor both operations. Second one lane monitoring. Third one's complete to cover the complete plaza area. And this is the control center. You can see that the feed from different cameras. So there are supervisors or plaza managers. They keep tab of all these video feeds in case of any alerts or any incidents, alarms. They take appropriate action, and so uh, this for the mainly for the management of the overall operations at the toll plaza. Okay, here now this toll plaza. Initially, when we started this tolling, we started with open tolling system. That means whenever a vehicle crosses the toll plaza, the road user has to pay the toll for the entire the project of the section of that toll plaza, irrespective of the distance traveled. Even if he travels for 5 kilometers or the 60 kilometers for the entire project, he has to pay the full toll just by crossing the toll plazas. On the other side, the closed toll plaza, the closed tolling means based on the distance traveled, the toll is collected. Nowadays, most of the toll plazas, they are having that closed tolling systems. The closed tolling, we have entry and exit plazas. You can see the image here. Whenever you enter a plaza 1, and you can exit at point A or B or plaza 2. So depending on the point where you exit, your exit point is there. So that based on the distance traveled, the amount is collected, and it's very easy with electronic toll collection systems. You have readers at entry and exit levels. So depending on entry and exit, it automatically calculates the toll and debits from your uh, uh, FASTag account. All right, now we are coming to this electronic toll collection system. You have any doubt, you can ask for the previous whatever you have covered. Okay. Electronic toll collection, as that name indicates, the collection of toll without any human intervention, and automatically the toll is calculated and collected. So you should have some kind of system or a unit fixed inside the vehicle and another system outside the vehicle. Or we call it the roadside system unit, and another is a inside vehicle onboard unit. In this case, in this particular case, we have FASTag. That's a small adhesive sticker fitted on a windshield of a vehicle, and a reader is fixed on either on a gantry or on a pole. So the communication happens between a reader and the RFID tag. Then further that how the transaction happens, all this in a this flow I will just cover in subsequent slides. For the ETC technologies, when we started this in 2015-16, there were different technologies available across the globe. So we had to select one suitable technology for Indian condition to have to suit our conditions. And these are some major 4 technologies were available. One is dedicated short reach communication. Under that, there are 2 types of systems: 5.8 gigahertz microwave passive. So most of the European countries, they were using this. and 5.8 gigahertz microwave active. That's Japan and Singapore. They were using this. And radio frequency identification, that USA, Mexico, Chile, Argentina, Dubai, Taiwan, some of the countries they were using this. And another important technology that is very state of that high tech one, that time. And in India also we have tried the pilot project on this, and government is also announced recently that India is considering implementing this GPS based one. They will discuss this part in detail in the next slides. And the fourth one is automatic number plate reader system. There is also another type of ATC systems. In London, it's used very widely there for congestion pricing. And in India also, we tried one project, Delhi Meerut Expressway. We have successfully implemented this, and it is still happening now. It's under operation now. NPR-based tolling in India. That also I'm covering it in one particular slide. I'll give the detail of this particular technology and Delhi Meerut Expressway. Out of these four technologies, a committee was formed in 2010 under the chairmanship of Mr. Nandan Nilekani. At that time, he was head of UIDAI, which created Aadhaar policies. So he was given that charge to just study different technologies. There are four different technologies, and suggest suitable for Indian conditions. So I was also part of the committee there, and we studied all possible technologies and all pros and cons, and finally radio frequency identification (RFID) technology was selected based on these standards to start ETC in India. Maybe after some time, we can reconsider for other technologies. But to start any ETC in India, that was a suitable one. And we'll see why RFID only was selected as compared to the other one. So these are certain parameters we considered for selection of RFID only against other technologies. Number one, that was the proven technologies that time as compared to the other technologies, RFID, and it's the cost wise, it is very, very cheap. So that time it was costing less than 100 rupees. Now the rate has gone down still further. It's approximately 25 to 40 rupees, the raw tag. Again, that customization, individual banks, they are charging their own fees for customizing that, and some banks are offering free of cost also. So the cost wise, as compared to the other technology onboard units or systems, these tags are very, very cheap. Sorry. And this RFID technology has got multiple suppliers. So it's very important to whenever you select any new systems, especially in India, we have to have kind of competition, and to it's beneficial both ways. One, to bring down the cost because of the competition. Second one, we'll have there will not be any monopoly in this. So we have, if one supplier is not performing well, then definitely we can reach the other other suppliers, so that we can maintain the kind of quality and the supply of tax. You know that in India, that volume, considering the volume as compared to other countries, it's a huge. That's why a lot of companies, the international companies, have shown interest to set up their manufacturing facilities in India, and they've supplied a good number of tags for this purpose. And it's very simple. This is a self-adhesive sticker only. There will not be any technology part, any customization, or any tweaking. Nothing is required. Only that I'll show you that how simple it is to affix it on a windshield. Just peel up from one side and just affix it, and you just good to go with the bank and registering yourself and start using that without measure any technical knowledge. Now we try to understand. We have been talking about RFID tag, but what exactly is this? See, if you see that this is nothing but a small chip with this one antenna. You can see that some kind of coil. Coil is nothing but an antenna, which will help propagating the signals. And in our case, you can FASTag. You can see that this all whatever you that impression you see that is printing matter. Then just behind that substrate, there's a small chip here that is embedded inside this. It's a very thin wafer kind of thing. You'll not be able to see that with naked eye. We have to just see behind some light. You can see that very thin image of this. And it's a microchip contains it's a memory and logic circuits to receive and send data back to the reader. This individual this RFID tags, they got we are using only the unique number of the tag. Other than that, we are not storing anything other than the unique number. So whenever we read this tag, it's only the unique number. It's called TID, tag identification. And we can also store that information of the bank and the vehicle class also in the memory, in the small memory inside the chip. You can see that image, how from sitting inside, he can just, the driver can easily just behind the rear view mirror, he can just simply affix that. And this one interesting fact about this RFID, this FASTag is, once it is affixed, then you will not be able to remove it again because that antenna gets destroyed. We manufactured or we put a condition in such a way that in the specification, because once it is affixed on a glass surface, if you try to remove that sticker, the antenna gets destroyed, making it you'll not be able to use that same tag in other vehicle. So you have to go for a new sticker only. So just to avoid that, sometimes what would happen, a driver can buy a tag of a car, then he can just remove the sticker and put it in a truck. So that would be a chance of misappropriating this toll. So just to avoid that kind of scenario, we can the specification has been designed in such a way that the antenna gets destroyed if you try to peel it off or try to remove once it's affixed. So here also RFID also, there are two types of tags here. One is active RFID, another is a passive RFID. Like our RFID, this one FASTag, you can see that it is nothing but a simple sticker kind of thing. Whereas this active one, it has got a circuitry inside and a battery. It is fitted with some battery inside. So the difference between active and passive is, active RFID can send its own signals automatically of its own, whereas in this passive RFID stickers, it receives the signals from the reader and reflects it back. We call it back scattering. Whereas it has got its own battery circuitry, it will send its own signal. You can see that the difference between this one, it has got a high range around 100 meters, whereas sticker has got shorter distance, approximately 5 meters. And obviously because of the circuitry and the battery inside, It is bulky and expensive, whereas this sticker is very, very thin, and it serves our purpose. For tolling purpose, whatever we have FASTag kind of thing. Since it serves a purpose, we can just use that. Now, we have been talking about FASTag and RFID tag. The difference is RFID is a technology and FASTag is a brand image of toll ETC system in India. In fact, it is started, initiated by NHAI. NHAI created a company, Indian Highways Management Company Limited, in the year 2013. I was part of the IHMCL since beginning. So we created all the systems and policies for ETC there. So here, and FASTag was made mandatory for all new vehicles from December 2017. All new vehicle getting registered, so they should have FASTag fitted mandatorily. Then for tolling purpose, it was made mandatory from 16th of February 2021. That all whatever tolling has to happen on NH highways, national highways, has to be through FASTag only. If you don't have FASTag, then there is a penalty of double that amount has to be paid. Now, approximately 30 certified banks are allowed to issue FASTags in India.
ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದು
Just play a small video to just give some idea.
Indian roadways network, spanning over 5.5 million kilometers, is the second largest in the world. Indian roads carry 65% of freight and 85% of overall passenger traffic every day on an average. The National Highways Authority of India, under the guidance of the Ministry of Road
This video
Transport
was
and
created in
Highways, has
2020,
been
so
working
numbers
tirelessly to build a network of quality roads and highways across the country, which meets global standards. Levy of toll charges on these highways play a pivotal role in ensuring quality service to the commuters at all times. However, the earlier process of collection of toll charges is manual in nature. This led to various issues such as congestion at toll plazas, delay at toll collection points, and manual collection of toll charges requires human intervention, which results in unwarranted delays. Further, the cash collected at the toll needs to be reconciled on the daily basis. Post reconciliation, physical cash is then loaded into the cash collection vans to carry these funds to the bank. This process also adds overall operational cost. Manual tolling process also poses significant challenges to the commercial fleet owners, since they usually have to pay higher toll charges. It requires them to provide sufficient and proper currency denomination to their drivers at all times, which in itself is a risky proposition. Also, since there is no tracking mechanism available with them to oversee the movement of their consignments on the highways, the fleet owners end up bearing an excess logistics cost. To address these issues, the National Highways Authority of India launched interoperable National Electronic Toll Collection Program that introduced radio frequency identification-based electronic toll collection, branded as FASTag. The NETC program offers significant benefits to all its stakeholders. For road users, cashless toll payment option, 5% cashback by NHAI on all FASTag-enabled transactions during FY 2018-19. SMS alerts for all toll transactions. Less congestion, reduced commute time, and savings on fuel. Easy access to toll statements online through app or web. For government, reduction of emissions due to the reduced stops at toll plazas on the highway. Enhanced transparency of toll transactions. For toll operators,
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम बिपिन पटेल है। मैं दिल्ली टोल प्लाजा का डेप्यूटी टोल मैनेजर हूँ। जब से ये फास्टैग की सुविधा आई है, हम लोगों को ये फायदा हुआ है एज अ टोल प्लाजा जो ऑपरेट करते हैं उनको, कि उनसे वो कैश लेना जो चेंज नहीं है, या हमें भी उनको चेंज देना पड़ता है, फिर वो पैसा हमें इकट्ठा करके फिर उसको बैंक में ले जाना, वहाँ भरना, जो हमारा भी टाइम वेस्ट होता था, अब डायरेक्ट हमारे बैंक अकाउंट में हो जाता है। हमें डे एंड के बाद पता चल जाता है कि हमारा कितना पैसा हमारे अकाउंट में आया और कितनी ट्रांजैक्शन हुई है, वो इक्वल हो जाता था। हमारे जैसे पेटीएम बैंक का यहाँ पे है पीओएस, तो एक ये हमारे यहाँ हुआ था कि भाई हमने उसको फिर वो जो जितनी भी गाड़ियाँ है मंथली पास वाली, उसको तकरीबन हमने 60% कवर कर लिया है, जो अभी वो फास्टैग पे ऊपर कन्वर्ट हो गई है। ज्यादातर ट्रैफिक हमारा जो भी है तकरीबन 30% ट्रैफिक है जो ऑनलाइन पेमेंट्स अभी फास्टैग से चल रहा है, तो ये अच्छा कदम है।
FASTag can be purchased by the users easily online through POS locations at the toll plazas or through various apps launched by the NHAI. NHAI also recognizes the importance of ensuring safe travel on national highways. For this, they have established a 24/7 unique toll-free helpline 1033 for road users, which acts as a single point of contact for public in case of any accidents or other emergencies. NHAI has taken various initiatives to promote NETC program, which has led to an increased penetration of FASTag in the Indian highways network. Today, over 22 banks are working as FASTag issuers, and about 8 banks are working as FASTag acquirers at toll plazas. The number of FASTag users has crossed 3.5 million, and the penetration of electronic toll collection stands at around 30% at over 450 plus toll plazas under the NETC. To further boost the sales of FASTag among the commercial vehicle category, both NHAI has proposed to mandate affixation of FASTag. FASTag by NHAI is an extremely powerful and beneficial tool, and its usage has already started changing the daily lives of commuters as well as toll plaza operators. The increased usage of FASTag will definitely support the government's initiative aimed at developing and digitizing India. It is time to take a smart step today to build a brighter future tomorrow.
That video was
Indian Roadways Network, spanning over
5.5 million. Okay, here now coming back to the systems there, the toll plaza. We have the RFID readers installed on a pole or canopy there. Overhead RFID readers. We also use portable handheld devices, but again, recently NH has discontinued uses of this handheld devices. But in case of any emergency, this can also be used. But it's always advisable to use overhead permanent installed radars only. This is a typical flow happens at the toll plaza. Whenever any vehicle comes there, the antenna or the reader first reads that RFID tag, captures the unique number. The number is sent to the local database, and from there it will be sent to the backend system. So unique number is connected with all user database. It has got its own the owner details, the vehicle number, the owner bank details. Entire information is there in the backend. Just by identifying the unique number, it matches with all the other credentials, and debit credit happens in the backend. And once successful transaction happens, then barrier opens, allowing vehicle to pass through the toll plaza. This is the typical block diagram of a toll plaza. Here we can see the lane level. Unique number is red. The vehicle FASTag is red. That information is shared with the plaza level. Its server is there, and that server is connected with the backend central clearing house and the banks, the acquiring banks. So that bank will calculate the toll and send that information to NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, which acts as a central clearing house. So there debit credit happens. It will instruct that issuer bank to send that money to the acquiring bank. Again, from the acquiring bank, it will get remitted to the toll operators or the concessionaires bank account. We can compare this ETC systems with credit or debit card systems, because everybody is aware of their credit or debit card, how that transaction happens. If you go to any merchant place, there is a small reader system, the POS machine. We call it the POS machine. Is nothing but the plaza thing. Only difference is that card is swiped there, whereas here in toll plaza, the FASTag is red from the readers. So both cases, that information is captured and it is shared with the backend system. In credit card and debit cards, the authentication happens instantly. That whether that account is valid and it has got a sufficient balance in that account, then only it will allow a merchant to just approve that amount and allow this merchant to give that commodity or item to the purchaser. Here in this case, it's not a real-time basis. The transactions are happening with some time lag. We call it a near real time, but it's not exactly like real time one. It happens in a batch. All transactions, maybe after 5 to 10 minutes, the delay will be there. So it will go to the NPCI. It will hit NPCI server. There, the transaction, the debit credit happens through the issuer bank. This, when we started this program in 2015, we started with single issuer and single acquirer. That means only one bank was allowed to issue the tax, and this all transaction he would process it at his own level. So every toll plaza is connected to that bank. So in initially 2015, ICICI Bank was selected for operating this ETC as a pilot project. Then initially some 30-40 plazas were given to ICICI Bank. All transactions they were processing at their own level. So there will not be any central clearing house, or they are sharing that information with any other entities. So here you can easily see that only one bank is processing that entire thing. So automatically that monopoly is there. So we try to bring in another bank to just to break that monopoly of ICICI. But still, again, it's between the play between Axis and the two banks only. So later on, we just modified the architecture in such a way that multiple banks can play a role here, and people should have option to select any bank of their choice. So we brought in another model called multiple issuer and multiple acquire. That means multiple banks can issue tags to the different users of their choice. Suppose you can select tag of any bank, IDFC, Paytm, or ICICI, Axis Bank, Yes Bank. There are nearly 30 banks are now offering this issuing services. You can select any bank if you want to buy any tags. Similarly, the toll plazas, initially we started with ICICI and Axis Bank. Now multiple banks are acquiring toll plaza. So that means any transaction happening at the toll plaza, these are processed by different banks. So there's quite a good number of competition is there. If any bank is not performing in this case, so NHI or the IHMCL, they have the power to just instruct these banks to just either surrender these toll plazas or give their services properly, so that the end user should not suffer in this case. So that kind of competition is there in the market now. So you can see that image that how single issuer, single acquirer model. That means only these two banks were having their own systems at all toll plazas, and whatever transactions were happening from their reader, they were directly taking that transaction to their server and were processing. And it was, see, for less number of toll plazas, it's fine. They can still they'll be able to manage that. But once the numbers increase, then this model will not be an efficient one. So considering all the aspects, then that government has decided to change it to multiple issuer model. So it looks like this. So toll plazas are acquired by different banks. Acquire one could be any bank, maybe ICICI. They are having set of banks, and whatever transactions happen at the toll plaza, that will hit their server, and they calculate the toll. And after calculating the toll, they pass it on that information to NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. They are actually that central clearing house. Once they received the transaction, they know that this particular transaction of this particular vehicle, and which is linked to a issuer bank, one issuer bank. They instruct that issuer bank to debit the amount from that road user and credit it to the respective acquirer bank. So end of the day, acquirer bank makes a complete calculation how much money should be given to individual toll plaza owners. So accordingly, that money is transferred to their bank account automatically. So this happens. It's all in the backend system without any human intervention. So automatically it happens, and every stakeholder in this case, maybe toll plaza owner or acquire bank or the NHI or NPCI, all these agencies, they get all snapshot of every individual transaction on their dashboard. If they want to monitor or check anything, it's possible with this kind of software systems. So all agencies can see their transaction. In individual toll plazas also, they can see every transactions happening of their toll plazas on their dashboard, and they will be able to get the complete report. So that time, that entry, exit, the entire detail, they'll be able to get in their system. So this is how it happens. When vehicle enters there at the toll plaza, the transaction is sent to acquire bank. Acquire Bank, after calculation, it will send to the NPCI. NPCI instruct that issuer bank to debit that amount from that user's account and again sends it back to Acquire Bank. Acquire Bank remits back that amount to the toll plaza owner. So this is acting as a central clearing house in PCI. So this is the central clearing house. There we have the database of multiple information clusters. Regarding the tag holder, the entire information of tag holder is stored in a separate table there, table structure. That includes tag information, its a name, who is the owner of that, is the address, as per the KYC information. Whatever KYC information captured at the time of issuance of tag is stored there against the tag holder. And toll plaza, every toll plaza should have some kind of master data, including that lat and this one, the location, lat long locations, and that plaza ID. Each plaza will be given one unique ID. So that entire transaction happens based on this plaza ID only, and the plaza name, the under which project that plaza comes, all that information, location, and the toll structure. Every toll plaza is having its own toll structure depending on the project, the length of the tollable length. And the Acquire Bank associated with the toll plaza is also there in that information. So any information about the toll plaza is captured separately in PCI server, and issuer bank also. So all bank details of the issuer bank details and the toll agency, because ultimately that money has to go back to that toll agency there. The bank account of toll agency is given there. So after successful transactions, the completion of the cycle, that toll amount goes to the toll agency's bank account here. So this is the flow. The toll, the tag ID plus plaza ID, and will be used for calculation of toll rate, and it is sent to the issuer bank. And after debiting that account from that issuer bank, and it will be sent to the toll agency. Ultimately, the amount has to reach that toll plaza owner. In this slide, you can see that there are two scenarios here. One, the toll plaza. Another is a free flow tolling. You can see that will not be any toll plaza here. This is in India. Presently, we have this toll plaza where we have channelized traffic. Vehicles are channelized in different lanes, and they reach the toll plaza. They reduce the speed, slowly cross the lanes one by one behind the other, and the readers are reading the tag, and vehicles are allowed to cross through this. Whereas in this case, free flow tolling, you can see the gantry here, and the readers and the camera systems are installed on the gantry, and vehicles are allowed to just pass through this without any channelized trolling. So they can cruise in a normal speed. The sensors and readers, they capture that unique number of the tag fixed on a vehicle, and that information is sent to the backend for collection of toll. So this is called free flow ETC systems, and in India we have conducted a couple of pilot projects on this. And now the next from the toll plaza scenario to free flow tolling, government also recently they have announced this, that we are moving towards free flow, removing toll plazas and converting all these things into free flow tolling systems. So for that purpose, now they are evaluating this, conducting studies for this. there are different technologies. We'll consider all this in subsequent slides. At present, we are having one study happening on Delhi Meerut Expressway that based on ANPR systems. We are having free flow tolling systems there. And another technology is under consideration is GPS based one, but it's a bit complicated. That requires some detailed study and enforcement mechanism. So government is working on that. So until that time, we are continuing with the same toll plaza uh, tolling systems and ANPR based tolling ones. So here, this is that I was referring about Delhi Meerut Expressway project. From Delhi to Meerut, it's for approximately 60-kilometer stretch. We have many entry and exit points here. Whenever vehicle enters that expressway entry point, there are camera systems capturing that automatically capture that registration number plate, and it converts that number plate image to characters that using OCR technology, optical character reading technology, and it matches. We can just compare that number with the database. So once you capture the number, it checks in the backend with the Vahan database and gets the detail, and money transfer happens with the help of FASTag, the existing FASTag. So we have FASTag program already running in other projects, and all FASTags are connected with bank accounts or their some wallet or accounts through which that remittance or debit credit happens. Here, in this case, in Meerut Expressway, only identification of the vehicle happens with ANPR, whereas that money transaction happens using FASTag. And it's working successfully since the last 6 months, I guess. This is the image of this Delhi Meerut Expressway. We are having ANPR FASTag system based your toll collection system. We call it the free flow, multi-lane free flow systems. And is quite successfully operational now. This is a block diagram of different layers. How that's happening. Vehicle enters, the NPR camera is captured, that is sent to the server there, and it is matching with the Vahan database. Already we download that information and compare that with the details, other details. See, Vahan is here, already is there, it is connected with this. And enforcement agency also cross-checking in between. Okay, now here, just additional information regarding this IHMCL. This was created by NHAI mainly for implementing electronic toll collection in India. And presently we have nearly 12 acquiring banks and 33 issuer banks. But even though 33 banks are certified for issuing FASTags, to 6 banks are only active. The remaining banks are not that active. And for operating this electronic toll collection, initially government has decided to give management fees to different stakeholders. Here in this case, there are 4 agencies are involved for operationalization of this ET systems. One is issuer banks. For whatever transaction happens there, issuer banks would get 1.5%. We started with 1.5. Now that has been reduced to 1%. And acquirer banks, earlier they were getting 1.25% when it started in 2016. Now it has come down to 0.13%. And NPCI, that is acting as central clearing house, was getting 0.25% initially. Now that has been reduced to 0.1%. And IHMCL, that overall agency looking after the entire program, was getting 1%. Now that has been brought down to 0.2%. So the idea is that the rationale or that objective of bringing down this management fee, you can easily see when we started this, just to encourage these agencies to just bring it in their resources, government has to increase that management fees so that they can recover their initial cost. But once that volume increased, now almost 140 to 150 crore per day transactions are happening. So considering that kind of huge volume, the banks themselves, they're ready to bring down their fees from 1.25 to 0.13% through subsequent tendering processes. IHMCL had invited price discoveries of these acquiring banks at different stages, and every time the banks have reduced their price from initial 1.25% to now the present rate of 0.13. So that's how that cost, you can see the almost 10 times that cost has reduced now. Still is working now because of the obviously because of the volume, because every bank they are getting good number of transactions. But again, it's a game of top 5 banks only. Even though some 12 banks are certified as acquirer banks, so no, all banks are not having that kind of pie. They're not having that kind of share. Only the top 3. I will show that details that how the transaction is shared between top 3 banks, and the remaining banks are not doing that well because there's just because they are into this fast tag business. They are continuing, but I doubt they are having any profit with this kind of services.
I have one question.
No, IHMCL has initially started with IHMCL at 1%. Now that has been brought down to 0.2%. Again, it's even if it's called IHMCL, it's again the government entity only. It's NHS. NHS got 25% stake in this IHMCL. We can say practically yes. NHS got 1% for monitoring this.
Can you once again specify difference between acquirer and issuer banks?
Please come back again.
Difference between acquirer and issuer banks.
It's a management fee difference or that their functioning difference?
Yeah, functioning, basic difference between them.
Yeah, see, issuer banks, they are only issuing the tax. For issuing tax, they have to first of all buy that from the suppliers, the tax, that raw tax from the suppliers. They have to customize, and after taking the KYC from the users, they have to issue that tax to the users. Once they issue that tax to the user, they have to have that mechanism. A lot of risks are involved in that. They have to have their manpower to monitor their activities, any transaction happening, any issues, all those things. They should have a call center to monitor that 24/7 call center to just monitor the activities. So that's why that cost is on a bit higher side. That's why they were given 1.5%. Now that has been slightly reduced to 1%. But still, that their resources, they had to put a lot of resources, and that cost-wise, it's on higher side. So the management or NHI, the ministry has decided to keep it around 1% only, just to keep them, not to make the huge losses for the banks. Whereas acquirer banks, again, they have to have this one, but acquirer banks, they are able to survive with this reduced acquiring fees. The role of acquirer bank is they have to take the transaction from individual toll plazas. So what every toll plaza is connected to one unique acquirer bank only. For example, any toll plaza on Delhi, Jaipur, there are three plazas. Let's assume that these three plazas are connected to ICICI Bank. So any transactions happen at these three toll plazas, all these transactions, this ICICI Bank, they process it. So after processing that, they will send the transaction to NPCI for instructing the issuer to debit that amount from the road users and credit it to acquirer bank. Acquirer bank in turn will remit that amount, whatever amount collected from the road users, they will send it to the plaza owners. This is how they work. Whereas issuer banks only issue the tax, acquirer banks acquire is like a POS machine at the merchant place. The credit debit card analogy I had given, right? It's like a shop, toll plaza shop. Is it clear or?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Shall we break for Tino, Neeraj ji?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
जी सर ब्रेक कर लेंगे 50 मिनट का, सर हम ज्वाइन कर लेंगे सर दोबारा 11:30 सर.
11:30 will
Yes, sir. जी सर.
join. Okay. Okay, welcome back. Any doubts on previous whatever we have covered from anybody, or we'll continue? Okay, we'll continue that, and whatever doubts we'll cover it later on. Okay. See, we now we are highlighting certain benefits of ATC as compared to the conventional manual toll collection we have been doing earlier. So there are, we segregated in under three baskets, three major heads for the road users, for the toll agency or the concessionaire, and the third is government or the society. For the road users, we can see that there are certain tangible and intangible benefits are there. Obviously, the saving in fuel, as compared to the previous things. For paying manual toll, we had to wait at the toll plazas, and now with ETC, we are almost cruising through this. Of course, some toll plazas still at peak hours. There are some congestion is being observed, but still, on a national level, there's quite relief for the road users there. And obviously, the travel time. And once you have the free flow tolling, this whatever benefits we highlighted here, that will be quite obvious. So intangible is the convenience. So earlier, people are fumbling for changes at the toll plazas for exchange of this one, and with this kind of COVID pandemic, a lot of people, they hesitate to just even use cash while interacting with toll operators, or vice versa. Even toll operator may hesitate to interact with the road drivers at a manual interaction level. So that kind of thing we can do with ETC things. For the toll agency, there's clear, visible thing is the saving on capex and operational expenditure of the toll plazas. Then this is no cash handling. So earlier, then during the manual toll collection period, for all the three shifts, people there were good number of people there employed only for counting of cash. And again, once you count the cash, then that has to be handed over to the bank personnel there. And handling cash will be a quite risky affair. Many times, that a lot of theft and other things used to happen there. Now with this cashless things, so this we can straight away say that yes, no cash handling. And the counterfeit notes also a lot of many times that a major menace there. And soil notes, torn ones, all these problems were there. Now we're totally free from these kind of things. And it's easy accounting, and obviously the service quality, because every concession agreement has got some service quality. So if you have this kind of processing at the toll plazas, so the service quality is definitely improved now. And for the government and the society, this is a clear-cut winners here. Tangible benefits, fuel emission. We can a lot of this fuel savings happening because of that congestion at the plazas. And pilferage, because this is straight away for not using the cash at the toll plazas. This straight away we can say that there's hardly any pilferage is there. And one is transparency because of this digital transactions. So we can say clear-cut transparency. Any agency can see the transactions clearly, and we can track these vehicles also. So between two toll plazas, we can easily identify the vehicle when any particular vehicle is trapped between toll plazas. So that owners or anybody can, if they want to track anything through toll plazas or their transactions, we can locate the toll these vehicles. This some transaction details I was referring about the banks, their performances, how these are performing. There are different, nearly 30 banks are there as issuer banks, but out of these banks, only I have highlighted only 3 banks which are active. We can see that monthly issuance of tax here. As of now, this around 5 crore plus tax have been issued. So this up to 18th of September, I have taken data up to 18th of September. So 11,000, 3,700 and 4,600 Paytm Bank. These are top 3 banks. And if you see the total overall till now, you can see 1.5 crore Paytm Bank has done. ICICI has done 1.16, and IDFC has sold 97 lakhs fast tags till date. And this is the transaction on 18th of September. It was 138 crore transaction happened on 18th September. That major contribution of nearly this one out of this, major contribution from these three banks, IDFC around 44 crores, ICICI 41, and Paytm is 16 something, and other banks are single digit numbers. So I have not previous months. This is acquirer transaction. again top three banks. The total again 138 crore, and this share of these three banks, you can say that 54, 44, and 24. The other banks is insignificant as compared to this. Okay, now we have completed ETC part. Before starting this FASTag based parking solution and other FASTag based applications, if you have any doubts, you can raise now on ETC, electronic toll collection. Okay, we'll move to FASTag based parking solution. So the difference is now we have seen how tolling is done through FASTag, that RFID sticker. Once you affix FASTag on a vehicle, it gives some unique number to the vehicle, and it's not transferable. It's almost a permanent number, some virtual numbering system we are giving it to the vehicle. Like registration number is like unique, which when see there, but this RFID unique number, you can't see that, but yes, wirelessly we can read that. That number can be used for host of other applications. So one, we use it for on highways, and the other application is widely being used now. In most of that urban area, already we are implementing this parking solution using FASTag. So here, the difference between toll collection and the, parking is there on highways, depending on the distance traveled, you are collecting toll on particular project, highways, or crossing any toll plaza. Based on the business rules or the toll plaza structure, toll amount structure, you are collecting toll for different class of vehicles. Whereas in parking, depending on the time, once any vehicle enters a parking area, that FASTag is read at the entry level, and while exiting, again the FASTag is read depending on the time. So every parking area may be having some their own business rules. For mostly the parking lot will be for cars and the two-wheelers. So depending on that, the time duration and that parking area may be 24 hours or maybe hourly basis also. So the entire thing can be done using this FASTag. An amount can be debited from FASTag only. And this is how this is being implemented. This is that block, how this is done. While entering parking plaza, this FASTag is read by acquiring bank, that is sent to acquiring bank. Acquiring bank is sharing that number, that unique number, FASTag number with NPCI. NPCI instructs the issuer bank for debiting that amount and giving back to acquirer bank. Acquirer bank in turn will remit that amount back to the parking plaza owner or that operator. So this is how this is similar, exactly similar to toll collection, except the fact that instead of the distance, here it's the time. Based on the time that parking fees collected. The same, again, the same flow here. Acquire bank, the from parking operator, the acquire bank interacts with the NPCI. NPCI further interacts with the issuer bank for debiting that amount, the parking fee from the end user, and it will return back that amount to the plaza owner. Again, that entire thing happens in the backend system without any human intervention here. The other FASTag-based enforcement system, though it's not fully implemented, but we can think about other applications. We have highlighted a certain applications area here, like parking. because that idea is once FASTag is affixed to the vehicle, we can use it for identifying that fitness certificate of the vehicle and vehicle tax, whether that vehicle the tax is collected or not, and insurance and pollution control. All this can be cross-checked with the backend system. After reading that FASTag at some strategic locations, either in urban area or in any point, even from the toll plaza also. After capturing this number, that number can be shared with all the agencies dealing with all different applications, and that can be cross-checked with their backend system, whether he has collected that insurance has been done for that particular vehicle or not. If it is due, then message can be given to the owner of the vehicle that your insurance is due, or if it's defaulting in that can be he can be alerted. That agencies can take appropriate action based on the kind of violations there. So this is how we can do that. On any road section, we can install ANPR cameras and RFID readers. So this is one additional layer just to cross-check with that RFID, this FASTag recognition. And this once capturing this information, that can be sent to the backend server for cross-checking. This is how it can be done. On a gantry, the number is read there, and RFID with using FASTag, we can see that unique number of the vehicle, and that can be checked with different applications. The backend, whether it's tax, insurance, pollution, and if it's not meeting any conditions there, then even challan can be generated, and that can be sent to the driver or owner using different modes, either through his mobile or email, or a physical challan can also be sent. So this is that flow, how that if it is not meeting with any of the conditions of that government approved things, then the challan can be sent to the owners through these modes, email, mobile, or by post courier. And once payment is done, again that record is updated and that is set right. Okay. So those are the FASTag based applications. Now we are congestion pricing. As that name indicates, congestion pricing is generally done at some location in the urban area. Previously, we have seen toll collection is only for the highway sections, and for parking, there's one very closed area. Whereas some section of urban spots, they are collecting extra fees for using that facility at some given point of time. So this is very similar to a toll collection only, and just to control the demand, because if you don't have this kind of congestion charging mechanism at peak hours, that could be unmanageable at some locations. Just to have that kind of control, the authorities of that urban authorities, they decided to charge some extra fees for using that facility at some given point of time. So you can see this. It is a demand-based strategy designed to encourage the peak the charge peak period traffic to any area in a urban areas. So this is one is time based. See, we can see the peak traffic. The user who wants to use that particular facility during that particular time, he has to pay some extra fees for using that road or facility during that time. Toll is levied at single or multiple points at a facility, different depending on the location, and zone based again. So whenever somebody enters that zone, he has to pay something extra. Alternatively, if he wants to avoid this kind of extra charges, he can defer his travel to that particular zone, the time. He can just shift to some other time, or he can take alternative route, or he can opt public transport instead of using his own vehicle. He can just take other buses or metro, trams, or subways, other public transports, so that this peak traffic can be avoided and charging extra can also be avoided there. This the congestion pricing increases with congestion levels. That is automatically tuned in such a way that if the traffic increases, that amount also goes up. And this is that certain vehicles are exempted for using these kind of things. For example, emergency vehicles, ambulances, electric vehicles, depending on the policies of that state or urban authorities, they may exempt to a certain class of vehicles. Those are actually, if it is that if they want to use that time and a particular location, they have to pay that amount. So the choice is their choice, because for them that time is important to use that, they have to pay something extra. Alternatively, they can change the route or mode of transport, or they shift their time also. These are the primary objective of why we are going for the congestion pricing. The one is to reduce that congestion and efficient utilization of transportation systems in that urban area and during peak hours, and smooth traffic flow. And of course, once you can manage these kind of things, then time saving will be there for all the stakeholders. And it will, once you start charging this extra fees for using that facility, this extra revenue can be used for other purposes by this urban authorities. So improve travel time, reliability, and road safety is obviously, and encourage the vehicle pooling and public transport. This by charging some extra fee for using that peak hour traffic. People can opt public transport and carpooling as well. So vehicle emission, that will reduce vehicle emission and energy consumption, and that ultimately gives that public improvement of public health, environment, and quality of life. So presently, these are some major congestion pricing projects successfully functional at Singapore. It started in 1998, one of the first congestion pricing in the world, and London, ANPR-based London road pricing in 2003, and Stockholm, ANPR-based one. And other metropolitan cities also throughout the world, it's there, but it's not there in India as of now. But in Delhi, there are a lot of studies have been conducted in Delhi, in Connaught Place area, to just charge congestion pricing. But again, there's still studies on. They have not finalized anything yet. Again, once that the FASTag success of FASTag will give way for this congestion pricing as well. Mostly in some urban cities in India, like Mumbai, Delhi, and other Bangalore and other places. They may start this kind of congestion pricing at these places. Technologies, obviously, the same technologies are being used. This is again identification of vehicle using these means. ANPR based is used in London, and in India also we are trying for highway tolling. Delhi Meerut Expressway, we are using this ANPR camera. So the same technology can be used for congestion pricing as well. Other technologies like DSRC, dedicated short range communication, the same tolling technology, RFID also, the same FASTag can be used, and GPS cellular, because there's only it's used in limited places only. This is the flow of the benefits, how that congestion pricing will yield better transport facilities and quality of life. So this is a regular traffic. How if you implement congestion price, this will give that fewer people driving, and if it is charged, then extra payment if you get it, that will fund for better bus transit, and some they use it for parks and urban pathways and other facilities, and cleaner air and safer roads. These are certain benefits we accrue by implementing congestion pricing. Well, this is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, I will be happy to just reply to that.
Sir, is there any way to verify the data of exempted traffic submitted by the toll agency?
Yes, because in ETC, electronic toll collection, all vehicles are accounted there. Okay, including that vehicle registration number. If any vehicle is exempted, we can cross-check with our backend system. If any agency, you are talking about from PIU is giving, or that agency is giving this vehicle?
No, from PIU, public funded toll plaza, submitted the data submitted by the public funded toll plaza to PIU.
Yes. See, again, all vehicles are passing through the toll plazas. We can cross-check with that backend system. You can demand that the vehicle numbers and that period, entire thing from IHMCL or from NPCI.
Okay.
That's possible. That the cross-checking is possible with exempt vehicles.
Sir, good morning.
Yeah.
Can we use the RFID technology for individual purchases? I have asked earlier in the chat box. I don't know whether the answer or not. Can we use the RFID for any vehicles? I mean, bucket full of vehicles. Suppose public sector organizations having a number of vehicles. Can we use that RFID for our internal purposes, not for payment, for our internal monitoring within our premises? Number one.
Yes. It's an excellent question. See, RFID, once you affix that FASTag, it gives the unique number to the vehicle, even identification to the vehicle. You can use it for personal applications also. I'll give another example. For a society,
yes, sir, exactly what I am asking.
Yes, for a closed society, you have most of the people are having cars, and with the new government things, most of the vehicles are already having the FASTag fixed in their vehicle. You can use some readers at the entry level or exit while exiting. You can manage your own things or giving access to your own occupants of that society occupants, or for that matter, you can use for some functions or some closed areas where you want to control entry of certain vehicles only. So that is done using software, because every vehicle has got a unique number, right? You can give authorization to only some set of vehicles only, the occupants of the society, or in any closed parking area, closed area, you want to give to your own the pass holders. We call it the pass holders. You give that vehicle number and ask this agency to assign only these allow vehicles to enter there, which are not in that whitelisted vehicle. They are stopped there. That is done with the help of NPCI only, because the repository of all this information is available with NPCI, in National Payment Corporation of India, and you have to rope in either any of the acquiring or issuer bank for this purpose. You can't do of your own, because you can't access, for example, that society thing. You can definitely, technically, it's possible to just do that, control your vehicle, but you have to take help of any of the certified acquirer or issuer banks. They'll be able to they give application to you, and they'll be able to interact with NPCI. You got my point? Understood?
Yes, sir. I got this, sir. Thank you. And who has to give the permission, sir? NHI or issuer? Banker or
No, if it's
NPCI, sir?
NPCI can do that. See, NHI's role is for toll collection prerogative. Any
Okay,
toll
sir.
collection, for even for the state toll plazas also, they have to come through IHMCL. That means NHI only. They
Okay,
have to
sir.
take permission of IHMCL for including their state plazas, or any this one state that green tax. There are certain states have got some entry tax. They call it the green tax. For example,
Right, sir.
Himachal Pradesh. If any vehicle wants to enter that Himachal Pradesh border, they have to pay green tax. For that purpose, now they have adopted FASTag based automatic green tax collection. For that purpose, through IDFC Bank, they have approached IHMCL, and IHMCL has accorded the permission. So these kind of things, IHMCL can give the permission. But if you want to use for your society,
Not for any commercial utility, just for monitoring our vehicles. Can we, in such case also, do we need any permission, sir? Not
yes,
for
permission is required, because you can't access this NPCI server directly.
Okay.
You have to access
Thank
through this certified banks only.
Is it any cost, sir? Is there any, payment to be
No,
done for that
actually,
purpose?
the banks may charge you some nominal service charge.
Okay.
Nominal service charge for some application. They have to give you some application, right? Some customized
Okay.
application, because you can
Okay.
monitor on your laptop or the mobile phone. They will give you some small app. Through that, you can, for your own society, for your own personal purpose, you can do that. But if you are in a government thing, you are from NHI, or
Yes, sir?
you are from NHI or some PWD state authorities?
No, I'm public transport organizations.
Okay.
I'm
Okay. In
road
that case,
transport
if you
corporations.
are part of government, through government, you can do that. You can still approach free of cost. See, if we are a government entity, you can,
Sir.
for your applications, you can reach NHAI with your request,
Sir.
addressing NHAI to just, you can highlight your the request, for what purpose you want this kind of FASTag data. So NHAI can accord that permission to you, and they will write to NPCI to give it to you. So you can interact like that. Okay, you can
Thank you.
reach IHMCL or NHI directly.
Nice information. Thank you. So, so the sensor, is there any particular type of technology using in technology for the sensors in the plazas, sir? Just for my knowledge, I'm asking, sir.
Okay, there is no sensor at the toll plaza. We call it a reader. See, reader for reading RFID tags. Okay, you must be using, just to give a simple analogy, whenever you enter your office building, I don't know, NHR, some places, or any private, most of the private offices, they issue that ID cards, okay? That
Yes.
chip-based IC cards. It's
Okay.
nothing but RFID tags only. You tap to the door there, near the door, and the door opens. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That means it's not a sensor, it's a reader. Similarly, for a FASTag, whenever that FASTag, the mount vehicle reaches toll plaza, the readers read that tag.
Yes, sir. So I got it, sir. My doubt is regarding the sensor vehicle movement and axle distance between axle to
Okay,
axle.
okay,
Reading.
okay.
Such
That
kind of
that
sensors.
that sensor, yes, correct.
Yes.
That
That's what I'm.
sensor is required for identifying the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
There are different technologies that treadle based, or even that light curtain based. These are different technologies used for sensing the vehicle, because that there is a loop every toll plaza lane. If you see that there's some wired loops you can find there. That loop is nothing but identifying any heavy metallic object. Any
Sir.
metallic object comes near that loop, because the magnetic field, it triggers some signal
Yes.
that identifies, yes, some heavy object is there. Suppose if you just stand on that look, nothing will happen unless
Sir.
you bring heavy metal, like vehicle only. We
Okay.
presume vehicle. So that is a sensor. If
Okay.
you mean that one, that is a sensor. It is still required, because that identifies your stoppage, because that is required for operating the barriers.
Okay.
That gives that presence. We call it a presence loop there. Any vehicle is standing near that loop, that barrier, it will stop barrier to bank down. So
Oh,
as long as the vehicle is stopping there, the barrier won't come down. Even if the transaction is successful, if the vehicle
sir.
is stopping there, the barrier won't come. Only after
Oh,
crossing that, then
sir.
barrier comes in. Okay,
Oh,
that
nice.
gives the sensitivity. It's a
Oh,
triggering mechanism in the back.
oh, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Let's see the chat box. Okay, I got only one that sensor question in the chat.